Welcome back to Fun Sale. It's been an odd year. It's been a while since my last post. Yeah, we've slowly been getting back to some semblance of normal. So yeah, I thought I'd try and get a few videos out this month to try and catch up. I thought for this 20th episode I'd do something special. Maybe reach into the archives and pull out my top 5 what I consider to be the rarest Hot Wheels in my collection. Rarest not necessarily meaning either the most expensive or worth the most. It's cars that weren't even that hard to find when they hit the shelves initially, but for some other reason or by some trigger, they've become top of collectors' lists. They've become very hard to find. Nobody's maybe offloading these. There maybe wasn't that big a run initially. Sets may have been cancelled, that sort of thing. So I'll grab the top 5, what I consider to be my top 5 at least, and let's have a look at them. All right. Right. Let's start with the top 5, and I'll move not necessarily in any sort of order, but maybe from the most expected or the most likely candidates to the maybe not so likely candidates. All right. Starting off with this period correct collaboration by Hot Wheels. It was the first one that they did with period correct. It's a clothing line that has got it says period correct for the gentleman racer. It's all racing themed clothing and accessories. These cars, apart from being very well done, it's a brilliant little Mercedes-Benz 190e. It came out at a time when they had just started releasing these in car culture, so it was pretty popular as well. The thing that made this very hard to find is that they had the sale on the online shop and the sale in store. They only have one brick and mortar store, period correct as a brand. There were only 750 of these made, and they had a bunch of them in store and the rest online. And I don't want to exaggerate, but it sold out in a matter of minutes, if that. It went so quickly, the online sales. It was one Saturday morning, well, it was Saturday for us, or Saturday morning for us. I don't remember what the Pacific Standard Time was back then, but yeah, it went very quickly. So if you didn't, if you weren't ready with the trigger finger and you weren't able to make it out to the brick and mortar store, if I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me on this, I think it's in Costa Mesa in California, but I could be wrong, could have the name wrong. Yeah, you'd have missed out. So obviously I had to, not being able to make it in person and obviously completely missing the online sale that morning, I had to grab mine afterwards. These weren't that expensive, and the prices, I haven't checked recently, they didn't reach very high, but because it was only 750 released, you don't find a lot of them available for sale, which makes them very hard to find and pretty rare. Even for a Hot Wheels run, 750 is very, very low. I mean, usually a very low run for Hot Wheels would still be, 2,500 to 3,500 units. So this is an extremely limited run. Obviously, apart from the fact that it's also very well done, the car. I mean, you get a lot of these that they do a limited run or they do a collaboration, and the execution isn't that brilliant. So that also that detracts from the value and the whole hype around it. But yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites, and I think still my favorite acrylic Hot Wheel to date. Then Mr. Obvious, the Candy Striper, the Grail car for many a collector. I've featured it on the channel before, along with its sister car, of which there are now two. And it's been confirmed there's going to be a Candy Striper drag bus later this year. We're hoping to get it in RLC as an RLC release. So yeah, we'll be looking out for that one. This one, yeah, hyped quite a bit. Pricing sky high if you can find them. It's the same with the period correctors. The guys tend to hang on to theirs now. So you don't get a lot of them for sale, available for sale, even if you could, even if you could afford the sky high price tag. So also that you see a lot of these cars are cars that not necessarily have got a big price tag on them, but because they're so rare and limited, guys aren't selling them. So it's harder to find one for sale than actually forking out the cash. Right. Then one that's hard to put a price on. It's one of the rarer vintage racing cars, one of the harder to find ones anyway, the HA Voigt 69 Ford Torino Talladega. I have two of these that are autographed by HA Voigt himself. There's a bit of a story behind these. I was looking for the other HA Voigt cars in the set, the 265 Mustangs, and I got in touch with the lady that runs the HA Voigt racing shop, like from the racing center. She does sales of the merchandise, and she runs the listings on the eBay store that they have. And she had two of the 65 Mustangs listed with pictures, and they were autographed, and they were at a very good price, reasonably priced for what they were. But because the 65s aren't that hard to find, they don't really command a very high price anyway. So I thought, well, it's a good price for the cars, and I ordered them. And I had sort of inquired if I had ever gotten two of these, would I be able to have them autographed? And she said, yes, we could send them off, and as long as I included the return postage, he could sign them for me whenever he has got a chance. And yeah, that was it. But when the package arrived, I got two of these. I don't know if it was a mix-up or if it was intentional, or I've got no idea. I've actually never contacted her about it, but it was probably one of the greatest purchases ever, because these were incredibly expensive, even unsigned, and I suddenly had two of them. So yeah, this is hard to put a price on. It's the autographed cars, like any other memorabilia. It's worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. I just it was such an incredible, unbelievable experience and shock, to be quite honest, that yeah, it's just one of those, well, in this case, two of those cars that I'll have in my collection forever. So they're not going anywhere. Yeah, it makes this quite a rare edition for me, at least. I mean, I like the vintage racing. I went all out to get the whole set, and these were obviously an added bonus. So yeah, that's that one. Next, I think many people would be familiar with, and I don't know if this is going to be in everybody's to everybody's taste. This one is pretty hard to find. It's the double bubble Dodge A100 van. This is from the Hot Wheels Delivery series, but it came out of a 20-car box set where 5 of the cars were full premium, so they were individually carded, and they had real riders, metal on metal, and then the other cars were sort of packed into a little display. The remaining 15 cars. And of the full premium cars, this one was by far the most popular. So you'd get guys buying the whole set and then just offloading, the other 19 cars and just hanging on to this one. At one stage, it wasn't that hard to find. You usually had regular listings, and I don't remember the pricing exactly when I bought this, but it wasn't incredibly expensive. But this is still, to my mind, one of the sharpest executions of this casting. I love the casting. I try and get as many of these as I can. And to this day, I don't think this has been bested yet. So, yeah, this is one this falls into that category of harder to find, not that expensive, but it's more a question of getting one available to buy if you ever wanted one in the collection. And then lastly, don't laugh, the Kermit bus, the VW T1 panel bus from the Muppets Pop Culture series. This is the first series. The second series did not have a T1 panel in the set. I'll show you the other cars. Quite a number of interesting castings in this one. But this one has become very hard to find. And this is one of those cars, they were everywhere. You could find them, any place. There were many on the shelves. They used to hang for a while. And then suddenly, when the T1 panel craze just took off, these were suddenly at the top of the list of the wanted lists. You can find them anywhere. Nobody wanted to sell theirs. I think it's still more recently the harder to find one has also been the Reese's chocolates T1 panel. But I think this one still surpasses that one. Yeah, I love it. I only have the one, unfortunately. I wasn't one of those guys that stocked up on them when they were readily available. So yeah, I got mine from a fellow local collector at a very good price as well. He did a good deal for me on this one. But if I ever find more, I'll be sure to grab a couple. Right, and that's it. That covers in my opinion, the 5 rarest Hot Wheels in my collection. The hardest to find, not necessarily the most expensive ones. Right, and that's always interesting thinking now. What might be common now, what might be available everywhere now that might not be in 2 years' time or 3 years' time. It's I guess that's one of the exciting parts of the hobby. Right. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want to leave a comment, please do, and please subscribe if you want to be notified of future releases, of which I hope there will be more in the near future. All right. Everybody keep well. Cheers.